Welcome back, SMITE fans, to the SMITE Oceania Pro League, presented to you by the Aegon Monitor from AOC. Here we are, game number 2 between Team Pandamonium and Legacy Esports. Pandas take out game 1 in a pretty convincing fashion, Biggie. As we start the picks and bans here in just a second, what are you looking from Legacy to pick here to kind of stem the aggression that Panda brought on in the early game?
I think I'd like to see Weave on something a bit more aggressive than a Geb. I don't think he played it as aggressively as he could, but I think Legacy is the kind of team where if they do get some momentum, they can snowball, as hard as, any other team in the comp. But the problem is when they get on the back foot, they're quite a quiet team, so they don't play too well. From the back, they're not going to come up with some quick plans or try and transition into a win there.
Let's go ahead and start up these picks and bans right now. Team Pandemonium have got the first option here. So I mentioned before, their pick and ban pattern along with Legacy was very similar. Susano and Terra very often banned out. And we saw, they didn't ban that last time. Instead, they picked it. The Erlang ban, again, taken away here by Team Pandemonium. I like that. Only Good at Solo has played it. It's his most played god. He's played it in 40% of all of his games. So a really smart ban away there by the Pandas. And there's the Terra ban as well. And I like that because there's just so much sustain for the Pandas and a lot of control as well.
Yeah, I think that the Terra just does too much right now. It gives you lane pressure for free. It gives you that that global ultimate, and just unlimited CC, and the healing is just ridiculous right now.
Susano banned away by Team Pandemonium. Shred did a decent amount of work on that last time. A lot of damage laid down, but just really nothing to follow up on it with. The Freya banned out here by Legacy. They don't want Maxon to pick that one up here for Team Pandemonium. And with first pick potential, Pandemonium have been known to pick that one up. But when they can't get it, they tend to go for this Jingwei that we see right here. And the 62 win percentage. That's not the highest win percentage in the OPL, but it is the most wins.
I mean, that's a solid pick, but also leaves, Raijin, Athena, bunch of top picks open for Legacy, so I'll be interested to see what they go here.
Double Guardian, in fact. So Geb and Athena. So that's going to be an Athena jungle. I imagine we have seen Athena solo, but not for quite some time. And that just doesn't say only good at solo to me, an Athena solo lane. So I expect that's more going to be Shred in the jungle. But, I mean, that leaves open the Raijin you were just talking about. And here it is, straight away picked up by Team Pandemonium. And they're going to get a Sylvanas in return. Sylvanas, one of Richard's favorite gods. I believe he's played it 5 times, won 4 of them, and a lot of sustain, just like what Terra brought to the team. A neat pickup here from Legacy. That could be mid or ADC.
Yeah, I'm really surprised by, I can understand if you want the Athena to flex it, but I don't know why you would go the Geb and Athena, especially since, you're not denying the Geb from Richard. He's quite happy, as we've seen, to play Sylvanas. I think he's played it, maybe 6 or 7 times already this split, so interesting pick from me. I'm not really too keen on that one.
All right, Humbart's banned away from by Legacy. Don't want Ro to play that one again. Soul banned away by Team Pandemonium. So again, that's something that can go ADC or mid. So they're taking away kind of the flex options there for Legacy and forcing them to commit to this needs one way or the other. Yeah, just as well as we see the Naja ban, if you're going to pick up this Geb with your first pick here, why pick up the Athena at the same time, or if you want to pick up the Athena and grab yourself the Raijin as well, which is such a strong pick right now, and then get your Athena later. Raven going to be banned away here by Team Pandemonium, so keeping the solo lane, firmly, they want to keep it firmly in control of Guillemio, so they're taking away the picks you might not necessarily want to play against. Ho Yi picked up here by Legacy Esports. Only the second time, I believe, we've seen Ho Yi in the Pro League, and you can see there, didn't win his last game, and not picked very often. Those nerfs to his mark really taking him out of favor in OCE. Last split he was pretty much the top option.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, 6% pick rate. We haven't seen much of him. I think people are preferring, the Jingwei, the Nathan. Outside of that, you have your magical carries. So I thought that might have been a Kronos pick there, as we see from Pandemonium, the Sun Wukong and the Willix pick here.
And the last pick for Legacy is be that Vamana, so a little bit of damage coming out through that Vamana, a little bit more wave pressure earlier on than what we saw from that Amaterasu. But I mean, looking at Pandemonium's team composition, Look at all the knockups they have. They have a Jingwei knockup, they have a Sylvanas knockup, they have a Sun Wukong knockup, and they have a Wheelix knockup, all for that great Wheelix ultimate. And they've got Neat's backflip as well. They've got Hoyi jump. Like, this is Ro's dream right here. You know, so many jumps, so many backflips. He's going to be basically ulting off cooldown with this Wheelix, which is one of his favorite picks.
Yeah, I've been a bit critical of, you know, these Wheelix compositions that Pandas have run for a long time now, because I think the way Ro used to draft it was he would kind of draft the Wheelix with a Sobek or a Geb or something, and then the picks around it wouldn't really transition well, whereas I like this composition a lot. You know, you have the pick potential in the Sylvanas, but you also have that team fight from the Sylvanas and the Raiji, you know, consistently throughout the game. So I think they have this much stronger comp this game, Pandamonium.
Yeah, well, rather than drafting around the Wheelix, they kind of drafted the Wheelix to fit the rest of their composition and to counter a lot of Legacy's composition.
Yeah, definitely just to complement it, and I like that a lot.
All right, so Fire Imp's going to be taken here by Legacy. Both teams going to split the mid camp. So very similar to how last game was started, but you know, of course, we saw Rowan and Chidi go very aggressive into Legacy's jungle last game. Not going to do so this game, but I would very much doubt that they would do that. You know, given the kind of more early game team-oriented composition that Legacy has, we can see though the duo lane still being very aggressive here from Richard Castle and Maxon and taking HS247 very low.
Oh, that's just Sylvanas pressure for you. And again, this is why I would have liked to have seen something a bit more aggressive in the hands of Weave. You know, maybe they could have given him the Athena, obviously picked the Raijin, and then put Shred on something else a bit more early game as well, if they early picked it. But, I mean, they're just setting up to lose their red buff again, I think, here.
Wow, Ro actually jumped over the wall there to Agony and Shred, but they chose not to go on him there despite being a level up, so... I mean, that's just Ro there, right there, like, leaping into the enemy, no fear whatsoever, and just walking out. You know, cool guys don't look at explosions.
Yeah, and they've got the 2v2 definitely favors them early. You know, you're not gonna... I guess you kind of have to play around the root a bit from Neath, but the thing is not going to gain too much pressure or, you know, scare you, give that fear factor in the 2v2 early.
And right here you see Agony and Shred forced to basically walk around thumbs in their pockets while Ro and Achita could go get that backcamp. What they did the wave before, while they didn't get any farm, they went and put some pressure on Agony and Shred in towards their own backcamp. So just a little bit of smarter macro play coming out of here from the Pandas.
Yeah, I mean, Ro just hitting 5, and I mean, we actually see whether he resets here or just looks to gank instantly.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the left-hand side pushed up fairly nicely. Could look to potentially pick off Weave or HS here if they burn a couple of their relics due to some pressure from Maxon and Richard, but I expect more than that. It's probably a fight, maybe at the speed buff, if him and Ochita invade, or if they could force Agony to backflip or burn his purification. You know, if he burns his purification with the gravity surge, Ochita can taunt him in with the Taiko drums and do so much damage to him.
Yeah. I mean, with the global ult dropping his speed buff, it'd be interesting where he goes after this, as it looks like Legacy are again going to lose their red buff.
You know, this is what you get with during the duo lane. The duo lane's able to rotate over and contribute to these red buff steals. Actually, Shred uses his ultimate on to only go to solo to steal away Panda's speed buff here, so they're trading speed buff for red buff here. Red buff finally falls down there and gets actually put into the hands of Maxon. Left-hand side boards. HS is actually hiding behind the boards, but Weave's caught out all alone, uses the Cataclysm, but nowhere to run from him. Richard Castle with the Wrath of Terror. Weave gonna fall down. Richard Castle claims himself first blood.
Yeah, I think he earned that one. He kind of hit the blind pull and then, you know, held his ult to the perfect time. You know, I think if Weave had have gotten his roll off there, he would have gotten out. But Richard holding his ult to the perfect time, you know, knocking him up and securing the first blood.
Alrighty, but Legacy do have themselves a speed buff taken away from Ro, so that's going to hurt Ro a little bit in terms of being able to rotate for farm, but not too much, I feel, especially with a lot of his aggressive ganking style that he likes to do with the Wheelix. Rather than looking for just straight farm, as I said, he likes to look for ganks, looks for pressure in lane.
Well, not only do they get the speed though, they got, you know, Kiki's blue, so I mean, you're putting Ogre ahead as well, and I really like that play. You know, when they in the game one, they kind of just gave up their jungle and didn't look to be proactive or, you know, reactive, I guess, and, you know, try and take some of Panda's jungle, but definitely this, you know, Athena pick showing its merit early.
And I like the Vermont pick here as well compared to the Amaterasu from last game. Like, as I said last game, Amaterasu really doesn't get a lot of wave clear online till about level 7 or 8, and really early on in the game struggles, and especially up against the Sun Wukong. With the Vermont, he's able to compete in terms of wave pressure with Kiki Omio, so it puts, Kiki's lane, either at a stalemate or a bit more on the back foot. And, without that option of a lot of pressure into the solo side of things, it means Ro's not able to be as proactive as he might like on that side of the map.
Yeah, well, I think it's just a matter of, Kiki picked the Wukong again. Ogre would say, give me something that I can at least go even in lane with, because, as I said, like, Kiki's happy to go even. I think Ogre always wants to be winning his lanes. He's a very confidence-based player, and, he wants to carry the game.
Dread middle lane, taking a lot of damage there. 3 ultimates used by Pandas there, and actually no kill coming off the back of it. So Shred able to survive there, and that's, I think, all thanks to his Dynasty Plate Helm with a lot of protection there, and did a lot, managed to stay off a lot of damage from the Feather Step. Global Ultimate being used here by Agony with the World Weaver, but it hits the decoy as Kiki Mio goes up into that Somersault Cloud.
Yeah, I think, well, as a Dynasty Plate Helm, a bit of help there from the Wrath for Shred there.
Oh, Agony actually picks up Richard Castle here in the middle lane. I think that was with a backflip as well. So Richard Castle falls down here. So, already we're seeing a little bit more aggressiveness coming from Legacy as Shred takes a little bit of damage there from a cheater who's rooted in place by Agony. Trading back autos. The Raiju does some poke damage back onto Agony. But overall, Agony's going to win that fight and going to win that sustained battle with that Broken Weave. So a cheater needs to be careful here in the mid lane. As we can see, 3 members of Legacy taking his speed buff. Shred rotating in behind a cheater here. Potentially no. Going to instead go for the solo lane.
I mean, this is exactly what Pandas did to them last game. Keep those timers and keep on those. And this is what Legacy have to do. They have to keep that pressure up on Pandas and play Pandas' game into them.
Alright, Weave taken low here, knocked up by Ro, but a taunt from Shred keeps the damage away. Ro forced to Purification, still looking for Weave here a little bit. Attacks him, tries to get him with a Feather Step, does so, but going to pay for it with his life. Agony rotates, backflips around as Maxon is rotated in here. Taiko drums used by Ochita, taunting in, only got a solo to Maxon's damage. Airstrike takes down the Vaman. Shred taunts in Kiki, but Kiki stuns him out before he can dash away. As Maxon's dealing some more damage, but Shred going to be okay here, dashes under his tower.
Yeah, I mean, perfect taunt there kept Weave alive as long as he could, and they managed to trade out 1-for-1 until obviously losing Ogre. I guess they thought they could have gained a bit more there, but it was never really in their favor. They were all kind of still poked out from that invade, and I think it would have just been better to reset off the speed buff completely rather than look for any sort of engagement, or maybe they were just trying to get a bit greedy and get that blue buff as well.
Maxon also rotated into that fight, took himself up a kill, but we can actually see he suffered a little bit in lane here, a little bit behind HS in terms of experience, and just even in gold. He was a little bit behind before HS went and backed. So, and that's really, there's really 2 contrasting play styles between Max and HS. Yes, everyone will always go on about how aggressive they are and how willing they are to take the 1v1, but Maxon's also a bit more team-oriented in the early to mid stages of the game, more willing to rotate into fights, whereas HS really wants to farm up towards the later stages of the game and then come in and contribute.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with that. I think, as you said, though, they are both very aggressive players. I'm surprised we haven't, seen more, 1v1s in this lane.
Well, I think that's because Maxon's not been in the lane that much compared to HS. We've seen as well, they were very pressured under their own tower early on, so HS been playing a bit more catch-up row over in the solo lane with Kiki Omio, picks up the kill onto Only Good at Solo in that Colossal Fury form. Kiki Omio taken low, but still, he's actually not died here this game, and only died once, I believe, last game. The last couple of weeks we've seen him fall down a bit more often. First week he was safe, didn't die at all, I believe. Middle couple of weeks he was a little bit more vulnerable, rotating into team fights, really frontlining a bit more for his team and paying the price. But his positioning, I think, has really been the biggest change for Kiki playing in the solo lane.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think he was going down a lot to global ult. And even speaking to him, he said, yeah, I don't know, sometimes I just don't think about it, and I'm sick of getting ganked by, Ratatoskas and Athenas. I think he's starting to, realize that and kind of respect those rotations. And I also think Ogre will be feeling a bit silly there. He was actually taunting Kiki on his tower line.
Well, there you go. Well, he'll learn from that one. Gold Fury being started up here by Team Pandamonium. A lot of sustain coming out from this Sylvanas already, as Ro took some poke from Agony. Ro jumping in there, Feather Step onto Weave through Cataclysms, but you can't stop the Tycho Jones with the Cataclysm. He just picks up a kill with the Sunbreaker, but another one was taken by Pandas. Ochita actually gets himself as well. Maxon airstrike, way through the damage. He took the damage from the Defender of Olympus, and it's picked up by Only Good at Solo. Colossal Fury used again by Only Good at Solo. It must have not have gone on cooldown in the last fight. He picks up the kill onto Richard Castle. So a 2-for-2 trade thus far. Actually a 2-for-3 trade in favor of Legacy. HS might fall down here to Kikyo Mio. Jingu Bang picks up the kill. So a 3-for-3 trade, but Legacy prevent Team Pandemonium from doing the Gold Fury, which I think is the really important thing for them there.
Yeah. I'm not really quite sure what happened there. I think Ro, again, that's Ro's playstyle. Maybe he just committed a bit too hard. I think on the Wheelix, maybe he wants to just hang back and look for these ults rather than, getting into the thick of things immediately. As you saw, he's still got his ult on, off of cooldown here.
Kiki, you're just talking about it was vulnerable to global ults. Look, the World Weaver ult there obviously wasn't expecting it. It is in between Only Good at Solo and Weave. Stunned him in place, and then Only Good at Solo able to clean up that kill. Yeah, I think Ro went in and didn't respect the Hou-Yi damage. Ahoga gets actually taken under tower by Maxon, and Weave knocks Maxon out of the tower line there. Maxon, though, getting retribution there for his own solo laner. Ro looking to take this tier 1 tower on the right-hand side. I don't think Shred's going to be able to stop him. If he has a taunt, might be able to, but no, he does not. Ro on Suku looking to run away. Shred should be able to dash after him here. Might be able to pick up a kill with the rally, but no, instead chooses just to clean up the wave. What I was saying before about the Gold Fury, Ro left in there and didn't respect the damage from the Sunbreaker ultimate from Hou-Yi. And the Mark of the Golden Crow, HS is actually leveling this second, and it actually gives you increased damage. It gives you increased percent damage for every 10% of health missed. And Ro was already weak when he went in there, so he's taking extra damage from the Sunbreaker as he had the Mark of the Golden Crow on him. And I think that really did a lot more damage than what he was expecting.
Yeah, and the thing about Ro committing on this Willix is he has no self-peel outside of obviously his beads, but Richard can't really keep him alive in as quick as he'd like to. Maybe a cheater with the fear on the ultimate, but I think he just has to let Richard initiate, let Richard start these fights, and then kind of play around the back and get the pick and look to use his ultimate off of the Sylvanas ult.
Alright, so we can see Ro's gone into the Hydra's Lament here for his second item rather than a Jotun's Wrath. So, talk to me about why we're starting to see more and more junglers pick up this item.
Well, I mean, the difference is, I guess you lose the penetration. You don't lose much cooldown, you lose about 5%. Power, I believe, is identical, but speaking to Ro, he just loves the MP5 and obviously the 30% damage on your next basic attack. It's just, he feels it's a much stronger option right now for him to be farming and controlling the map.
Alright, Shred taking a lot of damage with the Go Drums. Magic Cudgels from Kiki and Mio, enough to pick up that Athena. Agony, backflip, knockup, force use to Purification. Thunder Crash comes in. Agony falls down to another Magic Cudgel from Kiki Mio. He's using this Bang Stick to its full effectiveness. Colossal Fury used by Only Good at Solo just to try and get himself away, but he's not going to be able to get away from a 5-man Panda squad. Ochita picks himself up a kill. Now they're looking for Weave, who came in a little bit late here. Cataclysm onto 4 members, but nowhere to run as this Geb. Stone Shield is used, just trying to keep himself alive. Trying to keep himself alive as long as possible, but it's not to be. 4 men down for Team Legacy.
Yeah, I think that was just a matter of, Legacy not being on the same page. Maybe 1 or 2 of them wanted that speed buff, and then, Weave obviously was nowhere to be seen. Shred getting picked early, and there's, then Legacy just running in 1 by 1 and, getting picked rather than just, okay, we went for the aggressive play, it didn't pay off, kind of sack Shred there, and let's just go back to farming and, come up with, what are we going to do next? How are we going to, gain an advantage?
Alright, as we just passed 14 minutes here, let's take a look at the graphs. 2100 experience, 300 gold, all in the favor of Pandas. No good Gold Fury's done as yet, as we see Legacy starting up that objective here. They might be able to get this one, but Kikimio knows this is going on, does have a ward in the area, just gets in there trying to stop it, but the Sunbreakers mean that Kiki can't do it. He might actually fall down, he does! The Sunbreaker ultimate doing so much in combination with the Mark of the Golden Crow. Airstrike used by Maxa to get himself away here, trying to find a way out, but he's in between two members of Legacy. Richard Castle blinks in, gets one with the knock up here and keeps Maxon alive for now. There's the Tycho Johnson Ochita as well. Only got a solo. Colossal Fury doing colossal damage, but not enough to secure a kill just yet. Maxon knocked up by the Verman, and Shred used that Defender of Olympus to try and save Weave. Cataclysms too, but he's still going to fall down here in a second. If Ochita can find the damage with the one with that percussive storm, and he does manage to get it. And now Panda on the aggression here again, but HS picks up another kill here with this Hou-Yi. Pandamonium managed to recoup some kills there, but ultimately in the end, Legacy's going to come out on top. They might lose a tower here, but at the price of a Gold Fury, they're going to call that one worth.
Oh, definitely. And this is Legacy. This is what they were known for last bit. I remember when I used to play against them, if I didn't have vision of the Gold Fury, or even if I did a lot of the time, and I was kind of in base, I'd be, yelling like, check gold, check gold, check gold, because they were just relentless with their aggressive calls in that fashion. And, they lost that fight, but, Pandas hung around a bit too long, didn't reset quick enough, and Legacy saw a small opening, and, now they're back in the game, back square. Yeah,
pretty much. XP and gold, both under 1,000. In favor of Team Pandemonium, a steep decline from what we saw before. Kikio may steal that speed buff. He did. World Weaver coming through, but he managed to get up into the Somersault Cloud before that one can stun him out. So steals a speed buff away from Legacy Esports with no repercussions, basically.
No, I mean, as we saw in Game 1, Kiki kind of just controlling his jungle. I guess it's a credit to him, adapting to his new role this split. He's really got a grip on those timers, and his team might be fighting in mid or in duo. He's making these calls, and he's saying, I'll get this jungle buff, and just getting small trades or small wins in his favor.
Take a look at player damage here. We can see Ochita and Maxon right up the top there with that Raijin and the Jingwei. We can actually see the solo we were starting to talk about before. Maxon going aggressive onto HS. Defender of Olympus forced to be used as well. Airstrike, though, in the end secures the kill onto the Hou-Yi. Shred dashes in onto Maxon. Ochita picks up a kill in the mid lane, and it looks like the rest of Pandas might find one onto Weave, as Maxon gets a good amount of damage onto Shred as well. But a great 1v1 there by Maxon onto HS247. Picks up the kill, and now Pandas pushing all three tier 2 towers. Legacy, not much of a response as two of their main damage dealers are down.
Yeah, I don't think Kiki can do much here, but this could be two tier 2s. Obviously, the mid one going down already, and then Maxon, they should rotate from mid to just secure that left tier 2 as well.
Yeah, no one from Legacy able to respond here. Ro just dives into the tower, takes a couple of shots. Nothing to worry about here. I've got a Sylvanas to heal me back up, and no one on Legacy around to really bother me in terms of their damage. So I'm happy just taking that damage and taking some health away from the tower, just to get it down even faster.
Yeah, I mean, look, we were even 2 minutes ago, and all of a sudden the difference is 5,000 gold. So Legacy just, I don't know, just when these downtimes in these games, they just don't seem to be playing on the front foot. They don't seem to be playing as a team. They kind of, when they are starting the engagements, they're kind of misplaying, or they're not kind of on the same page. But then outside of that, they're just getting out-rotated.
World Weaver coming through, lands on the Maxon. Shred might be able to pick up the kill here, but the Purification from Maxon stops the taunt from taunting him in. Weave might pay for it here with a Thunder Crash. Ro picks him up with a Feather Step and a basic attack. We can see the damage coming through there from that Hydra's Lament. And now we see the rest of Pandas looking for HS as he's pulled in from the Gravity Surge. Beats and Purification forced to be used there. Sorry, Sanctuary and Purification. HS falls down. Shred falls down. Double kill for Ochita on that Raijin. Agony forced to run away over in the solo lane. Only got a solo, might be able to pick up a tower here. Agony, though, might not have as much success. Knocked up there, knocked down into the ground. It's got to be frustrating with Shred, with everyone seeming to be picked around him. How do you choose to go on without Athena ultimate?
Oh, again, though, if you saw it, Shred, just there was nothing to gain there from picking Maxon. He had both his relics up, and it was just him and Weave. Weave was already, fairly poked. And just forcing an engagement as, two, and just getting collapsed on, rather than, let's force an engagement as a team and have everyone on the same page and then get those picks. So I think just desperation plays, and it's not coming out, and it's not coming off of them, and that's got to be frustrating.
Now suddenly we find ourselves with a 7,000 experience, 6,000 gold lead in favor of Team Pandemonium. I want to highlight a couple of players here quickly on Team Pandemonium. Ochita and Richard Castle. Ochita, a very safe player. He hasn't died in this game. I believe he only died once last game. Second least deaths in the whole league. and the second best KDA as well, just behind Rob Diggity. Richard Castle, what I want to talk about with him is his assists. 11 assists this game already. Last game had a high number as well. I believe he had over 20. He's got the third most in the league. So, the core from Team Pandemonium, the point I'm trying to make here is the core, the three core, Richard, Ochida, and Ro, really starting to come together and mesh and have that chemistry that you really need to succeed in the early portions of the game.
Yeah, I mean, and you have to think, Richard pre-LAN was away from the game for months, so as strong as a player he is, he still has, he still had quite a way to go out LAN to, get back to his full form, and it looks like he's gaining that right now.
Yeah, he blinks in, gets a knock up there onto Shred, and only got a solo. Shred falls down. Only got a solo, forced to burn an ultimate as well. So Panda's on the hunt now, looking for Agony. Agony forced a backflip. Gravity Surge not used by Ro there, interestingly enough. Oh, he was kept banking on the knock up to get it, but a great purification from Agony keeps himself away from that ultimate. Only got a solo. Maxon actually fighting, only got a solo at HS by himself. Picks up the kill onto HS. Airstrike comes through onto the Vamani. Leaps back down, a knock up there from Ro. Only got a solo, gets a stone shield from Weave, but doesn't manage to live through it as Maxon picks up the kill in the end with an auto attack. Agony falls down. Weave about to fall down here. If he goes down, this will be game here. He does fall down. Nothing to stop the Panthers here from putting Legacy in the ground and burying the tree. And if Panthers, if they take this one, they're 4-0 against Legacy in this split. And that is not something I think most people would have predicted at the start of this season. Shred falls down. Titan falls down as well. Pandemonium, clean 2-0 sweep of Legacy.
Well, I mean, that's one way to end the game if you're having a bit of trouble doing Fire Giants. Just, take them out one by one and go straight up mid. I mean, that's really surprising to me because, I mean, I think 5 minutes ago the game was even. And now, 10k down and the game's over, so...
That's all it takes against Pandas.
Yeah, it just looked like Legacy, they had somewhat of an idea, but they just couldn't consistently play as a team, I guess. You saw these small engagements where they were starting the engagements, but then they just ended up being outnumbered, so I'm not really sure what was going on there.
All right, we're going to talk to now the 83 of Team Pandemonium and one of your former teammates, Biggie, Maxon. So Maxon, you guys 2-0 Legacy again, 4-0 up on the season. It's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, pretty easy.
All right.
So, you played Ethanami in that first game. Talk to us a little bit about her as it's our first look at her here in the OCE scene. What does she really bring to a team that separates her from some other ADCs?
I know you've got a pretty good ult. You can chuck that out for a quick kiss if you really want.
The auto attacks, they seem a little bit janky as well. What's it like adapting to that style of basic attack?
I mean, look, when you're versed in the competition we have here, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. I mean, we've just got bad players all around.
Them some fighting words there, Maxon. Biggie, any questions for our guest?
All right. A bit cocky. My other question is, obviously you were a jungle main for, I guess, 2 years, and now you played a bit of ADC last split when I think Subfloor was traveling. How are you liking ADC compared to jungle? Do you think it suits you as a player more, or are you just kind of playing that role because, that's what was required of you on the team?
Yeah, I know, I like it more. You can just kind of sit in lane, kill people, 1v1. I think I'm more of a 1v1 kind of player than team fights, obviously, but yeah, I like that a bit more. And the early game's a bit better, and late game you can carry harder.
Alright, that's all from me.
Alright, Max, and before you go, any shoutouts?
Shoutouts to Prank Invasion for the invasion method. Works every time.
Alright, cool. Thank you very much, Maxon. We're going to let you go here. Now we're going to be joined by the jungler of Legacy Esports, Shred. Shred, a tough loss here to Team Pandemonium.
Yeah, feels good, man.
So, last week we saw you guys really dominate, to be perfectly honest, the regular split. I don't think I think only Insight managed to 2-0 you the whole split, and everyone else you 2-0'd or split, most of the time 2-0ing. And, we're seeing a little bit of a different Legacy this split. Can you talk to us really about what you feels changed? Do you think it's the competition, or do you think there's something with you guys?
I just feel like we haven't really improved from where we were last split, and competition is definitely better. And with maxing and ADC, like it's insane, but I don't know. We just need to I guess, find what we used to do last split.
So you've probably been asked about this a couple of times, but talk to us a little bit about the change from solo lane to jungle. I mean, you played jungle for Tainted Minds. Was it fairly easy to transition back into that role, or did it take a little bit of time to find your feet?
I don't know. Jungle's pretty boring, but it's. I guess I just played it because we needed a jungler, and we didn't want to play jungle.
Right,
And
Biggie,
it's not that difficult to change back.
I think that was going to be my question, but great answer, nonetheless.
Cheers, Biggie.
No other questions, Biggie?
No, sorry.
All right, it's all good. All right, Shred, before we let you go, any shout-outs you'd like to give?
Nah, I'm good, fam.
Alrighty. Thank you very much for joining us, Shred. So that's going to do it for our first set of the week. Legacy Esports falling down 0-2 there to Team Pandamonium. Next up, we have Avantgarde v Royalty, and now we actually start to look a little bit towards our Split 3 finals here. If Avantgarde can 2-0 Royalty, and Alpha City can split or better with Corvidae tomorrow, Avantgarde secure themselves a spot at LAN. So Avant going to be definitely feeling, not necessarily the pressure, but a little bit of extra motivation this week. Let's see if they can convert it into wins. Take a short break, and we'll be back with our second set of the night.